From my humble beginnings as a tournament grinder, I've cemented my decision to take on the Dragon Ball Super Trading Card Game's greatest challenge, becoming champion. This is Snake Way, Road to Regionals. And we're back for another one. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Snake Way. I've been gone for a little while, and that's just due to the fact that the holidays came up, then I was on vacation, and then I was working out a couple of things before being able to put out another episode. So this one is actually going to come out at a very interesting time. We just had the PPG Orlando Invitational, so if you look back to when our previous video was, about 3 weeks ago, a lot has happened between since then and now. We had the Invitational, and then before that we had Chicago, the regional in Chicago. And I actually didn't manage to go to Chicago. I had other plans, months planned way before then. But so what we focused on was to just get our locals ready. And this is what today's video is going to focus on. Next week video, so now we're going to try and get this on a weekly cycle type of thing. We're going to be back into our rhythm. We're going to be looking at the meta, the current meta since the PPG Invitational moving forward. And we're really going to start grinding in on preparing for regionals. I'm looking into maybe making Vegas, see if that's in the cards. It wasn't part of our original trajectory, but it's definitely something I want to look into if it's something we can do. So this week we took Broly Height of Mastery. And this is going to be one of the last few times we're actually going to be able to use Broly before his errata. I have my thoughts and opinions on that, but I'll save them for you for next time. But with Broly, we took Height of Mastery, and that's very basic. That just means we're running a swap package that goes from Path to Greatness to Height of Mastery, and if we need to, into the SCR. Not much spice or tech in there. Really, the only spice is that we got a couple of draft box cards included inside, just in case we need to go mid-range and take a bit more time. That specifically being Raider's Warcry, which was okay, and the Kidku Ape, which is super good. You draw a ton of cards off of that. Very, very good card. Mentioning draft box cards, we have a couple of cards to open, so let's go do that. Understated how much of an impact the draft box cards have had on the meta. It just seems the more and more we go down into the game that they have been so generically good in any deck that they go in that almost every single piece is warranted just making sure you have a playset for whether it's the current meta or the future meta. I personally hope they really get reprinted. There is a lot to say about the availability of the cards right now. As much as I'm a super big proponent of a card game having value and making sure that players can get accessibility to the cards, you know, and that talks to promos, but I'm going to talk about that in some other video. I do think they're a little bit difficult to get right now, and it could probably warrant a reprint. I hope there's a reprint, maybe set 10 with the premium packs. We might be seeing them again, but nothing's confirmed, and who knows, maybe they just get power crept out, but super effective, and I'm really glad we locked down a couple of more pieces for our decks. With that done, we have a little bit more time before locals, so let's just get some updates on the community and see what's going on while we have a couple of minutes. It's at this time that I want to thank PPG for hosting a fantastic event. The commentators were awesome. Eggboy and Android manned it up with Cam and Joey finishing it up for the finals. And congratulations to Jonathan for taking it all down. And his team in general for locking up what I think was 5 of the top 16 slots at PPG Orlando. That's just unheard of. And congratulations to everyone who topped. It really goes to show that Surge is a powerful mechanic in the format and something we should really keep an eye on moving forward. Okay, well, it looks like it's time to head out to locals, so let's be on our way. Today we have 4 rounds in our locals, and on Mondays it's best of ones. And we've actually been really lucky lately as there's been a nice influx of new players, and it seems that the game is growing, which makes me ecstatic. I love new players, I love having to mess around with more people and strategize with more people, and I really like the strides where this game is taking us. So round 1, we're up against Kyle, who's running Janemba. And the Height of Mastery matchup is actually pretty good. Mostly because you go off on turn 4, you kill off their energy before they can actually use it, which prevents them from doing things like Topo and all of that. And while there are some plays around it, it's still a pretty tough deck to beat. We end up winning the die roll, and in hand we have the Shen and Roshi combination with a couple of other cards, but we mull away 3 and we end up getting an ape, which we charge. When passed, not much to be done on our first turn. Our opponent swings in, milling us for 2, which getting rid of a successor and a Roshi. We take it since we're not really too worried about our life from Janemba at this early in the game, and we get our victory strike from life. So if the Height of Mastery matchup was like pretty good with just the Height of Mastery, victory strike does a lot of work. From here we play Roshi and Shen, and we draw for both of them. We're not scared of Janemba's mill because our deck is made to kill them before we get anywhere near drawing enough cards to deck ourselves out. So from there we play another Shen, we pass, opponent attacks us, we mill, we pass, from there we charge Shen. And this is where we're going to attack, draw, and we're going to keep drawing cards. Right here we're just trying to set up for a victory strike play, which is why we play Path of Greatness. Now while there are answer cards to it, he has barrier on the field, so I'm not too worried about something happening to him. If not, we have the combo power in hand to defend him if somehow he gets tapped for any reason. From here we pass. The opponent attacks and we mill and we defend. And this is not more so because I want to protect my life total, but because we need to set up Sparking. Path to Greatness requires 7, so we just gotta make sure we set that up. Comes back to our turn and we swap. So from there, we do what Height of Mastery does. We swap him in, tap down our opponent's energy. From here, we're going to draw with our Shens and our Roshi because we're going in for the kill. We're going to Awaken. Now with our freshly untapped energy, we're going to EX Evolve right into Victory Strike and swing to close out the game. This one was pretty textbook. Unfortunately, there's not too much to say about it. When you have the Victory Strike play on turn 4 and you're going first, it is really tough for Janemba to do anything about it, which I'm really grateful for because Kyle is coming to his own as a fantastic Janemba player. And if the game were to go long, I highly doubted my abilities to close it out. Round 2, we're up against Krampus, who's a newer player in our area, and he's been picking up quite a few black decks, specifically this one, Toa. And something that I noticed as he was going through his plays was that he was playing it very aggressively. However, we win the die roll, we keep a successor in hand, and with that we go fetch Grandpa and pass. He ends up playing a Black Mass Saiyan, which actually doesn't do a whole lot against us since Swap is a keyword ability that's playing the cards. So we don't get hosed by his ability, but he's a card there that's able to put pressure and help him get to quote-unquote self-awaken to see more cards if he needs to. So he attacks us and he combos very aggressively, which doesn't leave much in his hand. And this is actually to set up his awakening. So seeing as I don't have to worry about my life total too much because as aggressively as he's playing, he's not going to be able to out-combo me in the later parts of the game. So here I just figure, fine, we're going to charge Cooler. So that's okay. That means we're just going to charge Cooler, since I don't think we're going to really need it to be able to push for game in this case. And then Successor for Path. We swing with lead and take the draws.
to which he defends with Black Mass Saiyan. So I go into Gohan, swing, and we just do a little bit of Path shenanigans. Because of his hand size being so low, I actually decide to swing with Path because I know I can defend Path, worst comes to worst. And if not, I'd rather he waste more resources into our Path, seeing his play pattern. From here, he awakens and he pressures us with Gravy, but nothing we can't really handle. So we charge Gine, we swing in Path into Gravy to get rid of him, no issues there. We swing with Lead, and here we're just going to keep drawing with the front side because we can see so many more cards. And I'm not worried about my life total at this point in time, especially with us going first and meaning that we hit our turn 4 before he does. So we're at 3 and we pass. We just combo defensively, set up our sparking, no stress there, and from here we go straight into Height of Mastery. We swing with the leader unawakened just so that we can draw an extra card, especially since he's tapped out. And from here we awaken, we swing with Height of Mastery. I could probably swing with Height of Mastery again, but I decide to fan dazzle a little bit and go for the Mirror Champa just to close it out. This served as a great opportunity to talk to Krampus about the different ways that Toho can be played and maybe playstyles he should lean into a bit differently. And it also shows him off to the playstyles that Height of Mastery can do. And while it's not an oppressively meta deck at this moment, I still think it's an archetype that's worth knowing about for future. So we're going into round 3, going 2-0. Round 3, we're up against Michael, and he's running Starter Baby. I love Starter Baby, and that's maybe just because I'm a bit of a combo deck fiend, but the deck plays fantastically and sees so many cards, and you're able to play Graceful Charity for free. It's crazy. Anyways, we win the die roll again, and this is one of my luckier days, you know what, most people probably say this, but I am horrendous at die rolls, especially when they matter. I lose them all the time. Here, there's nothing really we want to keep in our hand, so we pitch 5. We charge a Successor, play a Roshi, and pass. He has Barrier, I'm not really too worried about him getting removed. Michael goes to the turn 1 multi-charge into Dr. Mew. Typical. He gets his Graceful Charity, and then he swings twice with Lead, to which we just take. We're not trying to lose hand advantage early, and we're really trying to make sure we find our pieces that allow us to not just die to Baby if he gets his combo off. So we charge Gohan, swing with Lead, and then I play a second Roshi, unfortunately not being able to find the Shen. But maybe if we draw into a couple of Shens in the next turn or two, we can turn these into great card engine, being able to draw 4 off of them if we can find them. Michael continues to aggro me with his Lead, and then arrivals away for free for Beerus, keeping my leader rested. A little surprised by that. I guess he braked a little bit and didn't find his other 4-drop to be able to go into his Baby Chain. This makes me feel really good because even though I'm tapped down and I won't be able to draw cards next turn, I can't be too crazy with my life total in the first place regardless. So I start comboing defensively now that my life is at 4 and then I get super combos. It really means that I need to be careful from here because I can get killed out of nowhere. So we charge Path, go into Grandpa, and pass. I want to leave up my energy for his kill turn. I cannot afford to lose to some kind of SS4 combo with a bunch of offering and just get completely blown out. He aggroes with his leader and he finds another Dr. Mew. Fantastic! He gets another Graceful Charity. He swings with Beerus, arrivals into the 4-drop. Awesome, so now not only does he have a free body that he can just awaken without having to kill his ape, but now he has the 4-drop itself. Which he goes into the 5-drop, killing Grandpa Gohan. Rest in peace. So he goes into the 7-drop, to which I just, nope, you can go ahead and draw your cards. I can't afford to go to lower life total right now. I can't lose to a triple strike. And then he drops to 1 life, proccing himself and getting my leader down to minus 15k, which means I'm at minus 5k unawakened. He awakens and he drops the Pan. Oh, thank God. There is no SS4. I can deal with a Pan. He swings with his leader, and then from there he just opts to pass. And I don't know if he's afraid of the crackback, thinking I may be able to defend, but from here, this is actually a really good opportunity to get me to try and close the game, especially now that he's at 1 life total. I charge my Victory Strike because at this point my charges really don't matter. I'm either ending the game this turn, or I'm going to lose because I don't have the cards to play as defensively as I want to. So I swing with my leader for 2 reasons. First, to dig deeper into my deck because I'm going to need all the combo power I can for this swipe. And second off, to bait the negate. I want to really make sure that I can go in there with a big card. And that big card is Mira. So we get topoed, but not a problem because we just Mira. We pitch the cards we need to attack. And then we combo out everything we got for the kill. Round 3, 3-0. Round 4, we go up against Miles, who's running Android 21. and ever since her release, he's been trying to make her work. And honestly, he's been doing pretty okay with it. As much as he says he's not doing great at all, I fully think he's doing good. Here, we finally lose the dice roll. I wonder if that foreshadows anything to come. So he charges a multi and passes. Typical blue-green doesn't really do anything on their turn 1 unless their leader does something. So we have clones. Now, this is where I'm really still unsure what to do with clones whenever I play deck against them. Do I just aggro them super hard and get them to their awakened state on turn 1? I don't know if that's the right call, because especially since I'm going to be getting clones every single turn, I feel like that's an option for me that I can do at any point in time. So whereas if I hold off, at least I can get a couple of swings with my leader, and he doesn't get to awaken whenever he wants, which will probably be as early as possible, and have access to two extra energy right out the bat. So I'm not too sure either way, but I also understand that I don't want to be playing the long game against a ramp deck, especially since the more energy they have on my turn 4, I can't tap them out completely, which means it's going to be really tough for me to close out the game. So I swing with my leader, I draw, and then I try to do aggro swap. The benefit of Grandpa Gohan is that he's the first card I play with Scheme, but I swap out for free to a 2-drop. So I get around the whole my first battle card can attack, and it's super helpful to try and get the aggro in. So we pass, and he turn 2 awakens. Again, not too sure if that's the right choice, but I think in this matchup I just really need to start pushing the edge that I have. So he ramps with the Android 16. Yep, saw that one coming. And then he swings and passes. From here I charge Roshi, and I continue with my swap aggro. Aggroing off with Path to Greatness, and then waiting it off. Still, Height of Mastery is a good game plan here. I still think we can really push it through if we can. Miles goes ahead and ramps with the 4-drop into Android 21. And then afterwards, another Android 16. And at this point, he's pretty much outramped my shutdown completely. I need to kill him, or I'm just going to flat out lose to the fact that he's going to be dropping bombs way harder than going to stop him. So after making a couple of plays to try and dig into an extra cards, I unfortunately have to completely tap out to play Height of Mastery after having awakened. And I get my swings in, and unfortunately he's able to defend. Being completely tapped out, no hand because I just had to put everything into trying to Height of Mastery him, and then being at 2 life, we concede, and Miles shuts down our win streak, ending our night at 3-1. I have to give a shout out to these boys. The guys from our locals who went to Chicago did really well, all of which were probably a win away from going in from the bubble. And with all the practice we're getting down, with the growth of our community, and with all of us having our sights on the big prize at the end of the season, I have really high hopes for the boys at my locals, and I think we're going to do really well moving on. See you guys in the next one.